Hi, everyone, and welcome to Moonlit Scary Stories. We are your hosts, Skylar and Cameron, and today I will start where we stopped off with the Jennifer Short murder, and this is the tips and evidence part. The other two parts, if you have just joined in on this one, is posted for our previous episodes.
In this podcast, we need to warn you of the possibility of a language that may not be appropriate for all ages and to some may be offensive. The content we go over in this podcast is recommended for mature audiences and a trigger warning due to the content consisting of murder and child murder.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for my voice if it is sounds different or raspy. I am getting over some allergies, so this is going to be, the tips and evidence part of the Jennifer Short murder. Viewers or listeners that are just joining in on this episode, go back two episodes, and that's where the part one starts. To recap, I'll just do a little bitty synopsis of everything that we've gotten so far. So, August 15th, 2002, Michael and Mary Short were found dead. They were shot in the head while they were sleeping inside their home, and their 9-year-old daughter, Jennifer, is missing. She was missing for 41 days, and her body shows up that investigators think that was thrown over a bridge miles away from their home in Rockingham County. So they are in Bassett, Virginia. So they found her body in Rockingham County, North Carolina. And we right now I'm gonna just list you guys the persons of interest from when they first started, as soon as I got to the crime scene, to pretty much years, months, days later. I will say that this is still an ongoing uh, murder cold case, or not cold case, but case. So to this day, it is unsolved, and they still are getting tips. So the person of interest list, there was Mr. Thompson, so the worker for Michael Short that saw him the night before the murders happened, and then found the murders and called it in. Mr. Gary Bowman, who is now no longer on Earth. Uh, he asked Mr. Short to move a mobile home for him, and I think Miss Michael Short declined at that point. And then we spoke about Mr. Gary Lemons. I, I still cannot find that he's a person of interest. I'm sure that, but he was a person that gave information about Bowman, and I don't know if they actually gave Lemons a lie detector test or not. But I'm not going to put him on the person of interest. But he is a valuable, I guess, key player in this,
He's
because he
suspicious.
did, yeah, and he did he did have some some stuff happen. But so those are the person of interest and suspicious people. But in August 2015, Henry County Sheriff Mr. Lane Perry announced that the motive for the murder may have been just to abduct 9-year-old Jennifer. He asked some of any of her friends from 2002, like coaches and sports teams, if they saw anything unusual at the time, but he never did get any kind of unusual activity. So since then, the case has been dormant. The FBI has provided a list of 19 clues to help solve the mystery of who killed the Short family. So we're going to go over these and then some theories that I found online, either in comments or Reddit posts or just blogs in general, because there are some blogs that talk about this murder when it was released again in 2010 for the tips that were released when they did release them. So one of the tip number one, is investigators were attempting to identify any person who was in contact with Jennifer Short between June 1st and August 14th of 2002. So, so we have, those persons of interest that we spoke about, and we were talking about how the FBI provided some clues. So they have a list of clues. They said number 14 was the most crucial. So I'm going to start with number 14 first for that. Um, So tip number 14 is investigators are attempting to identify person or persons who was in contact with Jennifer Short between June 1st and August 14th. So, for instance, there may be a coach, teacher, friend, parent, neighbor, store clerk who was in contact with her through, any events, activities, dance, going to pick up a drink, anyone. So they were just trying to get anybody who had seen her, because I guess they want to speak about how she acted or what happened. I don't know, but that's one of the tips that they are prominent on any of the websites that they have. That one is like pinned to the number one, which is, I mean, I guess that's what they're doing. I mean, I don't know.
Retrace what happened with her. Is that what you mean?
That's what I that's what I think. Like that's or if they've seen anything like anybody following her, or maybe they can. I don't know. I guess maybe they're
Just
looking for
connect
like,
it.
huh?
Just to connect it, I
Yeah,
guess.
just to
Yep.
yeah. So here are the other clues and calls to action from the 2010 bulletin from the FBI, and I'm going to list some of them. Well, most they're not a lot, so we'll go through them, and this actually comes into where they have a truck, and they have a sketch of somebody that they want to speak to about the murder. So we'll actually have those posted on our Instagram. So one clue is the investigation has identified a possible vehicle associated with this crime. Information is being sought to further identify this vehicle. Michael Short, investigators are seeking information from any person who had contact with Michael Short regarding relocating to South Carolina. Um, During the early hours of August 15th, 2002, an unidentified male was observed sitting in a vehicle along U.S. Highway 220 in the vicinity of the Shorts Oak Level, Henry County, Virginia residence, and investigators are seeking information regarding that individual and vehicle as well. They're also seeking information from general contractors, independent contractors, construction companies, mobile home dealers, mobile home part suppliers, any kind of mobile home business, or any kind of like mobile home salvage yard, anything that conducted business with Mr. Short um, between January 1st, 2001 and August 15th, 2002. The unknown vehicle referenced, which is going to be the image that one of the images we post, is described as a 1998 to 2002 white single cab, 2-ton flatbed stake body truck with wooden rails. And it pretty much is a picture of, just, it kind of reminds me of the, it might sound bad, but Jeepers Creepers truck, but without the back. The back is the part that's got wooden rails. So the front looks like that, but it's white, and then the back's got the rails with the bed on it. So they're looking for that. Also, they're also looking for the cab portion of the vehicle, which is another photograph that depicts the cab and the bed of the vehicle, which is similar to a 4,500 series international truck. So pretty much a hauling truck. They're looking for somebody with information of a white hauling truck that you can haul, hay bales and wood and scrap and stuff like that. Next is, unfortunately, because of the length, it's been like 20 years now. So, and this came out in 2010. So technically, it has only been a few years for this picture. However, based on the age of the individual perceived by the witness, they also did a age progressed composite as well. So they have the depiction of what the witness saw, and then they aged it to make it look what the suspect would be look like now. And we'll post this one, and it pretty much says it was they were seeking information regarding the individual depicted in the composites who was associated with a similar vehicle that was depicted earlier that may have been in Henry County area, Virginia, in the early morning of that day, August 15th, 2002. They are also seeking information regarding the identities and location of individuals who worked for Mr. Short and his moving company on a weekly or day to day basis. That is to include migrant workers as well. And some of those individuals they can't look for because they were paid on cash basis and not taxed pretty much. So these were people that came to the country to find work. Uh, they're also so the tips are still coming in. We've got one that says investigators all person or persons who saw and who was in contact with the family between August 1st to August 14th. Anyone who has such contacts with the Shorts, please notify them. They also say they reviewed some Short family documents and have identified individuals who had contacted the family prior to August 15th. And along with the completion of that, members of so upon review, the members of the task force will do some additional interviews with them in the near future. Um, Investigators currently covering leads that regards individuals who look similar to the individual depicted in the sketch. In addition, investigators continue to interview persons who purchased mobile homes as well with Michael Short Company, and individuals who had a mobile home moved by Mr. Short, but it has not already been interviewed as requested but anyone who's not been interviewed, they're trying to get pretty much interviewed. So, you know, the other few tips that come in was just pretty much they added funds for the reward if they had a location, arrest, or conviction. They actually was looking for people who used Michael Short for a business. They, based on the leads that they did get, they had people in South Piedmont area of Virginia that they were talking to. Um, it's just pretty much trying to figure out about the family, trying to figure out if they had somebody that wanted to abduct 9-year-old Jennifer. So while
Like,
searching about all,
they believe that she was the main focus of this crime. Is that what
I
you're saying?
yeah, I think they really do believe that she was the main focus of abducting her, and they really want to pretty much figure out why. So
But they're not
they're
sure at what point the person killed her.
I nope, not sure. And I
Could have been
believe,
right after.
yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking. I
what
believe it was right after.
But then that wouldn't make any too much sense. Because I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, why would you kidnap her just to kill her? Why would you kill the entire family or the parents and then
Thank
kidnap
you.
her just to kill her? I don't
Thank
know.
you. So there's some
Robbery. I think
theory. There's some theories. There's a lot of theories. So I picked a few. There's a few that I could not go without picking from a blog that I read, and they're actually pretty. Who wanted Michael, Mary, and Jennifer Short dead? So one theory is a business associate or employee, you know, moving mobile homes. It's a job in itself, and Michael Short did hire laborers when he needed to move a trailer, and it is thought that he paid them in cash. This could have been dangerous, they say. Some day laborers have a criminal background, addictions, and mental illnesses. So the employee who found the bodies was thoroughly investigated as a suspect. It is likely that he was eliminated since he was never charged. But did a worker or former worker snap and murder this whole entire family? If so, why take Jennifer out of the house and kill her 50 miles away? So that's why no evidence has been presented to the public to confirm that a business associate or employee murdered the family. So I guess I don't know. That's one of the theories. Second theory is it could have been a neighbor, friend, or acquaintance. So the next theory, it could have been a neighbor, friend, or acquaintance. So they're thinking of maybe this theory is maybe the murders were due to a grudge someone held against the family or one of its members of the family. Since we, can really never know our neighbors by, just by anything, it might be possible. But I personally know the county and the area, and I couldn't see any of those neighbors back at that time doing this like that. Um, I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of people. Like, there's so many cases out there where it was someone close to the family or someone, you know, down the road or, you know,
Yeah,
so you really say that it doesn't seem like that because it's always the most unlikely person.
that is true. You're right. I don't know. He was a retired carpenter from Mayodan. He became a person of interest when they discovered he had moved to Canada the day after Michael and Mary were killed. Later, his landlord claimed to have heard him, say, kill a mobile home mover in Virginia. Um, then they had the reports of him carrying. They then so, excuse me. According to news reports, two men stated that they saw Bowman carrying a young girl from the Short home on the night of the murders. Bowman was then, held in Canada without being charged for a month. They, processed crap tons of evidence from the house of uh, Mr. Bowman in an attempt to link him to the crime. Unsuccessful. And then this is where two more names come up that we haven't. So this is where two names come up that we haven't spoken about. Uh, Timothy Sampson and Jerry Mills were indicted for lying to federal officials. Court documents allege that they had made up the story of Bowman carrying the girl from the Short home in order to obtain the reward money.
Oh,
Then,
Lord.
yeah, so then he was released. Bowman was released, but he had never been officially cleared. But they moved on to other leads, and then, like I said, he passed away in 2014. So that was one of the theories. The fourth theory comes back to the man in the truck that we talked about just a little while ago. A witness reported seeing an unusual truck parked near the Short residence.
The
The
Jeepers
man,
Creepers truck?
huh?
The Jeepers Creepers truck.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Jeepers Creepers. It's a newer model, but you know, it still looks like a truck that you could haul stuff on, but it just every time I see a truck that looks like that, it just thinks of Jeepers Creepers.
Okay.
The man driving it apparently had a weathered, quote, weathered expression, according to the FBI. And the truck should have been easy to find, but they never found a truck like that.
Wow.
Yes. Then I've got two more theories about this, and then we'll see. The fifth theory is conspiracy of cops. So in 2006, 4 years after the Short family murders, the sheriff of Henry County, Virginia, and 12 of his deputies, quote, not my words, corrupt to the core, end quote. The lawmen were accused of filing out paperwork attesting that they had destroyed confiscated drugs, but then sold the marijuana, cocaine, and ketamine to dope dealers in the area. They also, local deputies were also accused, get this, were also accused of money laundering. Many lawmen, including Sheriff Castle, ended up serving prison terms, but there's a question, did the federal investigators ever determine whether the corrupt department had any hand on what happened to the Short family murders? Um, so, could Michael Short have seen suspicious activity and reported it to police? Could he and his entire family have been eliminated to cover up the sheriff's department criminal enterprises that they have going on? Like, was Michael Short involved himself with moving in the drug trade in some way? Like, those questions are still not answered.
Well, didn't you say that they looked like dived deeply into this family to see if there was any kind of thing like infidelity or money, like Michael had owed money to someone, and they didn't find anything?
No, yeah, they did. They looked deeply into this family, and they never found anything. But this 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 whole thing about the sheriff's office didn't come out until 4 years later after the murders. So it questioned some people on maybe some of the evidence was corrupted, but they corrupted some of the evidence because it linked back to the drug trade, or it linked back to what they were doing or something. Like, it could have, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This
So
was
they
this was a new theory to me when I read it. I was like, holy crap, like I never thought about that. And I never knew that either. So,
so the theory is that he was involved with the cops drug trafficking.
yeah, and the cops pretty much
Killed
killed.
him or someone else killed him
Yeah.
to cover
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh yeah. So this last theory is the Joseph E. Duncan scenario. So one of the most pressing questions for anybody that thinks that reads this case is, why was Jennifer taken from the residence and dumped 50 miles away? It's not too far fetched to envision, maybe a sexual predator killing Michael and Mary to get to Jennifer to abduct her. I mean, it's happened before. It's there's plenty of plenty of stuff that's happened before. So this is where Joseph E. Duncan's scenario comes in, because in 2005 he actually became a serial killer. He stalked a Ohio family before breaking into their home and murdering Mark McKenzie, his girlfriend Brenda, and her son Slade. Duncan then kidnapped preteens Dylan and Stasha, sorry, excuse me, for purposes of raping them.
Hmm. It's so
So pretty
terrible.
much, yeah. I want to talk. I want to get into this. Like, this made me actually think about doing just a whole case of Joseph Duncan, because this was just one of then yeah, and then the girl,
Like in the forehead?
it just says, it just said shooting Dylan to death. So I don't know if it was multiple or if he just shot him in the head or not. But the girl survived and was eventually rescued. But it could have been a similar crime that occurred in Virginia, that somebody wanted to get Jennifer and torture her and rape her. Um, so I don't know. I don't know.
So
It's a
this
lot of,
guy was in Ohio. He never lived in Virginia.
no. This is just like a little scenario that happened to Michael and Mary and Jennifer. So they're thinking somebody had this type of sadistic, psychopathic tendencies to pretty much do what Joseph Duncan did in 2005. So it could have been somebody who wasn't even Joseph at all, but it could have been somebody that was in the state of Virginia and pretty much just wanted to do a sexual predator killing type sadistic thing to the family and hasn't been caught. I don't know. So this
Gotcha.
is yeah, this is uh this is pretty much all I have on Jennifer Short. I mean, like I said, it my fiance has his theories. There's, the six theories I said. There's theories that other people have come up. There's so many theories about this case. It's just it will lead you down a rabbit hole if you keep looking. Like that, I had to stop. I had to just say, I had to call it and just say, hey, we've got 3 podcast episodes about this. So I was like, this is going to be the shortest one because of the tips. And it just so many theories that we could go for 2 more podcasts, but I'm not going to put you guys through that.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, like I said, the tip line is always open to the FBI. So if you have was in 2002 and was in Bassett, Virginia, and knew Jennifer Short, condolences to her family because it's still going on. And I wish this was the type. I wish this didn't have. I wished it wouldn't have happened, but I wish it would have happened in this day and age, because with social media and everything, there's so many people that have their phones that take pictures that don't even know they're taking a picture of something that might be a tip to the FBI. So you never know. Uh, so yeah, that was the Jennifer Short family murder cold case that I came up with. Well, not came
Yeah.
up with, but decided to look into.
Well, that was good. Tips and stuff were really good. It's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to go with a theory because there's just not enough evidence to go with one theory. So it makes sense why the cops haven't solved this case because I don't know, especially with the false tips and everything else. It astonishes me what people do
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
money.
Like, it's sad and it's crazy that people like that are out there, but it happens, unfortunately. And everybody needs to be aware of their surroundings too.
Well, that was a lot of information, a lot of tips and theories that I hadn't heard of either. So that was good. It's been a long time since I've heard anything about the Jennifer Short case. So that was a
Yeah.
good refresher and added more knowledge to what I didn't know because there were some things you talked about that I had no idea about.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, researching it, I found more stuff that I didn't know about. And then, like, me and my fiance talking about it, like, he hated that he had to work today. He was like, "Are you doing the Jennifer Short theories today?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Dang, I'm not gonna be here." I was like, "Well, I could call you." I was like, "But I'm not doing all that. So you just have to listen to us."
Gotcha.
All right. So, do you want to do our social media?
Yes. We are Moonlit Scary Stories on Instagram, Moonlit Scary on Twitter, Moonlit Scary Stories at gmail.com. We are on YouTube as well. Our videos will be posted, they're always posted the same day as the podcast gets posted. So if you want to check us out on YouTube, that's also under Moonlit Scary Stories. And that's us. We